But Jerry was a nice guy. I like Jerry. And I like Jess Bemis, too, by the way. As well as Jess Pascal. But Jess and his brother were they were nice guys, but they worked for Charles Whitson down here, with Whitson's down here. Anyway, they worked for him. And
Whitson, the plumber?
Yeah, they were plumbers. Mm-hmm. And the backhoe, one or both of them worked the backhoe. I can't remember now. Anyway, they were, but you had to be careful because they had on a job and they were able to convert you to Christianity before you got through.
Yeah.
It was okay, but and I believe in Christ, by the way, but I'm not very forceful, and that's where I got into this book here. It's interesting. Ancient history is good in that book, besides just the fact that what is about that book is they are able to go back to Noah, English people, and Irish, and all the European people, how they go clear back to Noah. And it's amazing how they've done it. But it was all written before. This guy just found researched it, and got the pieces together and put it together.
Yeah, one time you had told me you were less interested in Bigfoot these days and more interested in creation.
Oh, I am. I'm very interested in creation.
Never grow tired of the Bigfoot questions? And
yeah, I'm not
about
necessarily tired of it, but I sometimes I haven't got time for some of this junk. Mm-hmm. Like I don't have time for that.
There's more to life than Bigfoot.
That's right. That's right. But this is very interesting. In fact, there's one chapter on dinosaurs. It's amazing.
What about the giants in the earth, the ones that are in Genesis?
Well,
some people think are Sasquatch.
Well, in here,
and
there's a place where they're talking about a bipedal beast of some sort. But it doesn't sound like
Esau from the Bible. He's one of the sons of Abraham, wasn't he? And he was born furry.
Oh, Israel? You mean Isaiah?
Esau.
Oh, Isaiah.
I don't.
Okay, Esau was one of them. Yeah, Esau and.
His brother was born like a normal person, and Esau was born hairy, reddish colored.
That's right. Oh yeah. They were twins.
There's some biblical studies guys who are also interested in Bigfoot who think that Sasquatch was actually, living side by side with humanity in the early days. The Old Testament.
There's possible about like this on dinosaurs that there's possible this one. I thought that it sounded like maybe a Sasquatch. The reason I had to go back and look it up because it's talked about bipedal, and I thought, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they're different colors. It sounds like a fur, but I don't know. I can't remember what it was now.
There's a lot of strange stuff in the Bible, though.
Yeah, but this is actually all this does maybe is kind of prove that the Bible is correct, particularly when it comes back to Noah, and the flood.
You have to wonder how Sasquatches would have survived the flood.
Well,
like how could they have gotten on the Noah's Ark?
Well, the thing of it is, if
they wouldn't have been able to catch one.
You go into that, how could all the other animals go there? And there's lots of theories on how that happened.
Well, we got like giraffes and lions in the zoos, but no Sasquatches. So I'm kind of wondering how Noah got one on there.
But they don't know. It does not say that. All it says is all the breathing the animals breathing. They rather air. I can't remember exactly what it said. Anyway, they was on the ark, and it doesn't say the meat eaters and so forth. But we don't know how they survived.
There probably were some mountains. I mean, maybe like up there in the high Himalayan type mountains, the Bigfoots just stayed up there during the flood.
Yeah, but according to the Bible, everything was covered with water, and I would say that's true, but you have no way. But you know something? At one time, these mountains were completely covered. You take up there, Ironsides, you think about that. That was covered. It was completely covered. Now, the geologists tell you that. They'll tell you that's true. Because
there
that
were
was...
glaciers in here, too, one time.
Huh?
There were glaciers through here, too.
Well, it could be, but it was... Dr. McGinnity, it was Humboldt State. I took 1 year of geology. I knew just a little bit. But anyway, he said that those high mountains were down at sea level at one time. And then up like that, all this igneous rock, it hardened below ground, and then it raised up, and eroded the soft parts away. So that's where you got your mountains, and way down the canyon, it's all washed out to sea somewhere. But that's the geology. They think that themselves. But I enjoyed geology. I'm sorry I didn't.
There's a lot of it around here. For sure.
Pursue it. I took 1 year after the war. I took 1 year of geology at Humboldt State, and I took other. But they discouraged me. They said, "Well, you'll never make a living in geology. You better be a school teacher." And I went.
Little did they know the modern petroleum industry and everything.
That's right. Well, and yeah, but a few years later, I was back in Illinois. In fact, I met Francis back there, and they needed geologists on all those wells. They had to have a geologist, and they got down so far, and they had to have a geologist sitting on the well. And so there's a lot of things they had to do. So geologists were needed, but out here in Arcata at that time, that was just a teachers' college.
Yeah.
And so they were pushing teachers, but I wasn't a very good student anyway, so I probably couldn't have managed.
Well, you did well with your store all those years, right?
Yeah, right now, believe it or not, and cross my fingers about it, I'm writing a book right now, and it's down to where I've got the chapters, I got the story that's going to be in there, and now I'm kind of adding to them some of the things that I haven't put in them, and so in fact, right now I'm writing about the 1954 earthquake.
Oh, okay.
And a pretty tough quake, in Eureka. And I was working at Humboldt Machine Works in Arcata at that time, and it's a big, it's L-shaped, but it's this way. Well, this one was about 60 feet wide and about 120 feet long, and I was in there. I went into it, just like this here. I was down here, right over here, and the earthquake, when it happened, it came in, I could hear the roar starting over here at this corner of the building and coming towards me. And the dust was falling as it came. Well, on top of that, there was a bridge crane in there. And all we could think of it, where's that bridge crane?
Run away.
We didn't want that thing coming down on top of it, so we went out the door, and we crossed the road, and it was running waves about that high.
Yeah,
and
nothing like this little one we had here recently.
Oh, that was just nothing compared to
I was on the road. That was like
you wasn't hit Eureka?
Yeah, I was on the highway going towards Eureka, and it just felt like maybe I had a flat tire. You know, it was kind of wavy.
You felt it in the car.
Yeah.
Well,
we were away from the major impact.
Well,
a little bit.
The ¡54 earthquake. This one guy, I can't remember who he was now. He thought he had a flat tire, and he, with 4 seat belts and everything, he opened his door, looked out, and it dumped him in his head.
Yeah,
and,
I can imagine. I forget how big that was, but it's in the books.
It was 6.7, I think it was. I think that's right.
So we just barely felt last month's quake in Reddick. I could just feel a little vibration in the floor, like someone was walking. So was walking heavily in the hallway or something.
And we didn't feel it here. I felt it. I didn't feel it at all. I was just coming in with loaded wood in my arms. So I didn't. But I got in, and the dog was barking. What's going on? Francis said we had an earthquake. And it wasn't long. Then Mark called me and told me that they had a quake. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well," he said, "I just got home and it's shaking pretty good. It shook pretty good." He says, "I gotta go back. I better go back and check the office and see what's going on." But he just left Costco. He said, "I'm sure down at Costco," and some of the people that I know were in Winco, and I guess it was darker than the would get out.
I wouldn't want to be in there.
No.
Yeah, we were heading to the mall with my kid to go on the Bounce-A-Rama thing.
Yeah.
If we had left like 15 minutes earlier, we would have been in the Bounce-A-Rama with the ceiling tiles falling down, glass breaking, dark, lights out.
Yeah.
So we were really lucky. We just got delayed, and we were on the nice, comfortable Marsh Bay freeway area.
Oh, yeah.
It stank, though. Like, all that sulfur came up out of the Arcata Marsh.
Oh, did it? I'll be darned.
It smelled like a septic tank.
That's what it used to be in the old days. When we first came here, it stunk like bad. Well, the sewer, we just dumped it in the bay.
Yeah, well, it was in the marsh, I guess.
Well, it might be some of that even
natural
down in there.
digesters.
Or marsh would do it.
But once the earthquake hit, it seemed to release that from the soil and the water. Like, it came out. It didn't stink before. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, wow.
Oh, we are. Yeah. But that's.
I thought of like a sewage line had broken along the bay or something.
Yeah. Oh, that was but that quake, the 54 was bad enough, but I wouldn't want to be in and my father was in the San Francisco earthquake. And
now that's a major.
Yeah,
The
it's a
1906 one?
Yeah, 06, yeah.
Well, that had all the fires and stuff to go along with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, he lost everything. He lost everything
bad.
he had.
I mean, disastrous.
They didn't have much at that time, but he was staying in a hotel, and he went over to. He wasn't concerned by all this stuff. In fact, he said he changed clothes that morning after the quake and put his old grubbies on because he would go downtown to see where the office he's working in, if it was still there, whatever. And he said that he then went over to Oakland, got over to Oakland and sent a telegram home that he was okay. And when he got back in the city, fire had caught up there and burnt the hotel.
Uh-huh.
All his stuff was gone. But he said that. He told me one time. It's not in these letters, but he told me that he could have stepped out on the second story window where they on the second floor. He said I could have got out there on the ground. He said I came down the front.
Yeah.
But he said in one of his letters, he says, I don't wonder that it's so bad because he says San Francisco on a sand hill. It's about the truth too. But I've read some story. I started reading a book on San Francisco, and I said, I guess I've had enough of that. I'm not going to read it. It's just too terrible. You know, all the gruesome things that happened and everything. Just like there in Haiti right now, you know, accepting that Haiti didn't have the fire, but nevertheless,
there wasn't much standing left to burn.
No.
But I guess we're kind of at an end point.
Huh?
Kind of at an ending point here, aren't we?
I guess so.
Do you have any other things?
Well, I think we've covered the timeline issues and the general history and the current conspiracy theory of the week brought to us by the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else you can add just about your experience with this whole Bigfoot thing over such a huge part of your life? One thing about giving interviews, many people I've talked to before have, you know, afterwards, after an interview with someone, have been concerned about, you know, something that wasn't portrayed right or was taken out of context. And are there any interviews that you'd given over the years that you feel weren't used correctly, or you know, they changed your meaning?
The ones I had more trouble with than anything is some of the documentaries, and I don't intend to do any more of my